Okay, okay, okay. All right. Let me put you on something. All right, so I'm gonna tie two things together in this video. First of all, I'm gonna put together the way that acceptance is the key to life, okay? And secondly, I'm gonna make sure you know how to apply this in law, because I got a lot of videos talking about spirituality and I got videos talking about law and basically how to govern yourself and all that good stuff. So make sure that we hit the thumbs up button and let's get right to it. Okay, cool. So acceptance, how is this related when it comes to law, and what does this have to do with just life in general? So with the law part, I'm gonna make sure that you understand that anytime that you're talking about something that happens in court, let's talk about why people don't win in court. A lot of people don't win in court because they're simply trying to argue facts. That's not what it's for, okay? People will try to go in here or in there and they'll try to debate or argue thinking that that's what you have to do. No, 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 no. There's like a guaranteed way for things to not end up going your way. This is what you have to recognize. You have to come up with a solution, right? Everything in life is about solutions. But this part with the when somebody's like specifically accusing you of doing something, right? You're not supposed to say no, I didn't. You're supposed to basically say I accept the accusation. However, I just want this to go away in general. So basically, you're hitting them with something along the lines of, yeah, I acknowledge that you feel the way that you feel. I accept that, but this is how I feel and this is what I want. And then you come up with some kind of compromise. So let me give you an example. If somebody is getting, say, a charge pressed on them where there's a tax liability, which most of the stuff is, most of the time all they want is some money. So when there's a tax that they're trying to apply to you, you can say something along the lines of, okay, I'm the authorized representative for XYZ, whoever it is that the charges are being pressed against, and I accept for value all of these charges and I return for value the same. And what you can basically do is use this legal jargon to your advantage in a way in which you're basically telling them, I have the authority to say this stuff. I know what I'm saying. I'm acknowledging what you're saying. I'm not arguing anything that you're saying. And when you tell them you're basically not trying to deny anything that they're saying, they're already gonna know you're onto something. So whenever you are getting along the lines of, okay, so this is what I want. I want you to discharge this. I want you to offset this or what have you. Everybody wins because you're not telling them that they're wrong and you're still not necessarily getting anything out of pocket, or you're not having to pay for anything, because remember, House Joint Resolution 192 says we're really not supposed to pay for anything because it's already prepaid, or should I say it's going to be paid for whenever money comes back into effect, if ever. So just keep that in mind. Now, when it comes to just life in general, we apply this because I see a lot of people, they'll be in situations that they don't really want to be in life. And it's a real tough thing when you're trying to like get somewhere. So whenever you're trying to get somewhere, but you don't know how to get out of whatever situation you're in, the way you get out of it is you have to truly within yourself, like you have to genuinely accept the way that things are in your life. And that's what a lot of people are trying to like avoid. People are always trying to think about how to get out, how to escape and all that stuff. But bro, it's not just about that. It's not just about trying to escape all the time. You have to truly recognize what is happening in the present. It's all about being present. So if we know that being present is one of the biggest keys in life, you have to recognize what that means as far as how to utilize what's in the present to get to the next present, aka the future, or whatever you want to call it too. So whenever you're in a situation and you know you don't want to be there, you have to acknowledge how you feel first of all, and you have to be okay with the way that things are going in your life, because the way things go is based off of what you need to learn here. So you have to be able to accept that, okay, this is the way that my life is. This is a condition that I'm in at the moment. And then, and only then, will you be able to see things clearly enough and unbiasedly in order for you to get out of it as soon as possible. Because it's a frequency thing. I'm telling you, bro. People talk about the law of attraction, but they don't really talk about how resistance comes into a place with that too. Because you're adding a lot of resistance to stuff. If all you're doing is putting your thoughts on where you want to get to, you're not recognizing where you're already at. And that's the actual part that needs the most attention. People always talk about, oh yeah, you need to picture in your mind this version of you and all that stuff. And yeah, that's cool. You can do that, but you really don't necessarily have to do that more than acknowledging where you're at presently. I know you hear people say all the time that time doesn't exist. A lot of these spiritual people will say stuff like time doesn't exist, and when you recognize what that really would mean, it makes it a lot easier to apply things to your life that get you to where you want to get to. Because whenever you're going through this journey called life, there's gonna be some stuff where you're gonna be like, dang, I want to change that. Like, that's the whole point. You're a creator. You're supposed to want to change things. So when you see something that you want to change, you got to make sure that in order to accurately see where you're headed, you got to know where you're coming from. So you got to recognize point A and then see where point B is based off of point A. So you can't necessarily see the right way to go if you ain't even seeing clearly where you at. Like, I hope this is making sense. I really hope you're getting this. So if we're able to now be present and recognize, okay, I'm at this state in my development, I've experienced this and this that led me up to this, and based off of these patterns, I know that I want to go in this direction. What's headed in that direction? Like, once you can really get to know yourself and figure out how you got to where you got to and what you want things to look like, or should I say how you want things to feel whenever you get to the back end of things, aka the future you're going to be able to create a lot of stuff very easily, and it's not going to take all that conscious thinking. I hear a lot of people who think they have to like write down a bunch of stuff to manifest, and they have to consciously think of it, and you don't have to do much conscious stuff at all. This is all the subconscious mind. So we already know what determines if something sticks with your subconscious or not. How you feel about it, okay? So if you get traumatized by something, it's going to affect how you feel subconsciously about it. If you fall in love about it, should I say, when you get a lot of high level endorphins triggered about it, you're going to feel a certain way about it. But you got to recognize that energy has to do with the emotions when it comes to like how it affects your subconscious mind. So how something affects you is more important than what happened. Like, the same thing can happen to two different people, but it affects them two different ways, and that's because of the emotional factor. So once you figure out how to feel, like truly, which is something I feel like we should probably be teaching kids that in school more than anything else, but once you really learn how to feel about what's going on in your life, then and only then will you be able to get things rolling like you really want to get them rolling, because you got to have emotional intelligence more than anything. That's it.